I've talked a lot in the past about my revisions process as a whole, but recently I got a lot more experience in really gutting a manuscript. And so today I wanted to focus on that part of revisions where you're making a massive change. The first thing you have to do, obviously, is pinpoint what the problems are with your book. Read through your book, take notes of the things that you feel are working and aren't working, and then be really honest with yourself. Don't be afraid of big edits just because they are scary and they are big edits. Take some time to think about the things that you are considering doing for edits. A lot of times when I know that there's a big edit that I need to do, but I don't want to because it's really hard, for a day or two, I'm kind of like, but I don't want to do it. But then by day 3, I recognize that it's unavoidable. I want to write the best book I can, and so I have to do it. So go through all of that. Experience all of the joys of realizing what a problem is, and then the pain of realizing that you have to fix it. If you've watched any of our WordNerds videos in the past month, you know that I've been participating in pitch wars, and you know that one of the big picture edits that I've been making was overhauling the magic system so that there were no more dead zombie-like things. Talked about it a lot. What can you do? But I'm gonna be using that as my example today. I like to write down every chapter or every scene on a note card. So once I had written down all of the chapters on index cards, I took little purple post-it notes and I stuck them on the note cards for any of the chapters that were going to require changes because of this new magic system. This was pretty easy. It made it really digestible to just recognize that things were gonna need to be changed and put a post-it note on it and come back to it later. Once I had gone through that, I went and analyzed those post-it notes and determined which of those chapters were going to require total rewrites. If this was a scene that was gonna need to be rewritten, I put 3 stars on it and then wrote out a little description of what the new chapter was going to need to have. If it didn't need a rewrite, I just wrote a few notes on the post-it note of the things that needed some tweaking. Maybe I just needed to change the names of the different things, or maybe I needed to include a little bit of backstory for the magic. Maybe one of my dead zombie creatures stumbled out of the woods and I needed to turn it into something else that was not a dead zombie creature. This inevitably brings up more issues because you realize, oh, well, if I write this new scene, then that's gonna affect this chapter that I didn't even think needed any edits. If I ever felt stuck, I would bust out my trusty whiteboard. Not gonna pull it up too high because spoilers, because this is Act 3 that's written down on it. But if I ever felt stuck, I would actually just write out every chapter on my whiteboard with a couple sentence summary of what I was planning on having happen in the chapter with all of the new changes. I love implementing the whiteboard as well because it's really easy to erase and adjust things on a whiteboard. It's less easy to write up a whole new note card with all your notes on it. In total, this probably took me about a week. A week of just about non-stop tinkering with the plot, realizing that adjusting this one thing would change this other thing, and so changing that other thing, and then realizing that that changed this other thing, and realizing that changing all of these things totally screwed up a character arc that I had that was pretty good before. It's a lot, but taking it one step at a time makes it so much easier to do. Once I had written out my entire new plot with the adjusted magic system / no zombies, that was when it was time to start actually writing in the changes. Writing out all of the new things is hard, but I think compared to finding the problem, solving the problem, and determining where in each chapter you're going to do everything, it's not that hard. So I went chronologically, making adjustments, writing new scenes, making more adjustments, writing more new scenes. In total, I scrapped, give or take, 30% of my book, and while I was focusing pretty intensely on revisions, it still only took me slightly less than a month to finish it. And I know there are other people who've been involved in pitch wars this year that had to do even larger edits in the same amount of time. So if you're staring down the barrel of some massive revisions, don't freak out. You can totally do it. Let me know down in the comments any big revisions that you're planning on tackling and what your game plan is for attacking them. And be sure to tune in this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our usual WordNerds live chat. I am pre-recording, so I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be in the end cap, which is gonna be here or here, depending on which way I swipe it in.